go. I clicked the right one. That's why it took a little bit longer to start. Just a little bit longer to start. I just didn't want to repeat. Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 4, episode 4 of the Plastic Crack podcast. And tonight's topic is Wargaming regrets. This could open up some wounds. I don't know. We'll see. As you might have noticed, we are a man down. I don't really know what we're going to say. He's just not here tonight. We hope he feels better. I'm sure he will elaborate next week.
Oh, please, can we say?
No, we'll let him. I feel like he should be the orator of his own misfortune. I love. You know, it's good when he starts a message with "Don't laugh."
Yes, and then we're all proceeded to try and desperately not to laugh.
Robin, that's very mean. You got rid of your biggest regret. That is mean. That is incredibly mean. Anyway, guys, welcome. Let's see who's in the chat. I saw you guys were already having a good old chinwag before we got in here. So we have Red Steph. I know that Steve Harbour was the first person to comment, but I didn't take a screenshot of it, and I don't know if the others did, but thank you. I will not be mentioning the 6mm little ones. Thank you. I know that's what you had commented about. So Red Steph says tonight he's multitasking. He's painting Epic French, watching the PCP, and watching West Ham play Derby in the FA Cup on the telly. Ooh. Well, so what are you watching the PC? Oh, on your phone. Put us on the telly and the football on the phone, surely.
Yeah, that's the better way around.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes us feel important.
Exactly. We have Shring7, Lazy Pirate Painting, Mark Forsyth, Barnes White, Paul's Paint Shed. How you doing, Paul? Lionheart, Benjamin. I'm surprised you're still around. Have you not gone nuts from all of that basing? Dave Barker, Louis Baby, how you doing? Carl Burks, John Sobry, Ham and Jam. Leslie's here. He's painting Australians for New Guinea. East Norfolk's Mobile and Hostile, Hippo's Hobby Hours, and always painting some Vikings for Saga. Good choice. Ian Wright, Duncan Baker, Paul Neal, Red Sven 76. Alex is here from Storm of Steel. Steve's here.
Hi, Alex.
John City, Daniel Justin, Crozerat, Red Steph, we've done. Simon Stokes, Mortzik, how you doing, dude? Graham 99 Padden, how you doing? John Sobry, CC Audi, hello folks, -10 temperatures here in Colorado, working on the last stand unit of 28 mil Aussie Pacific Theatre. We're saying nothing. Has Ken fallen into another hole? Who knows? Who knows?
We do, but it's very funny.
I said nothing. Simon says, make paint play. Good evening from North Essex, currently making Saga dice. Evening, Fencer General Haig, Yorkshire Dragoon, Tim's here, how you doing, dude? Andrew, Nick Games, Miller's here, he's bothered to turn up. How's it going? To be fair, I was talking to him on messaging like about 30 minutes ago, so it's not... Double Dip, what a name. What a name. Evening, cool. Simon Weinberger. And we've done the thing again where we've just gone and dropped all the way to the bottom. So anyway, guys, welcome. Thank you very much for choosing to spend your Monday night with us. And thank you very much if you're watching on the catch-up. Always appreciated. Yeah. So... I don't know. Sorry.
You're completely lost.
I've spent the weekend working. We've got an inspection coming up at work by what is our quasi-governing body, and it's our free yearly inspection. Alex will know who I'm talking about. I say governing body, and I just spent all weekend just going through paperwork and forms, and not really doing things I wanted to be doing. So yeah, it's not been fun. But how are you guys anyway? How you guys been?
Very good indeed. Yeah.
Made myself ill playing video games. But apart from that, yeah, brilliant.
Yes.
You play so much to make yourself ill.
I'm thinking it was that anyway.
Right, there is such a thing as audiovisual fatigue. And my best mate, the guy who's my best mate, he got that when he tried to watch all prequel Star Wars films and the originals in one sitting. He got to about episode, I think it was 4, so when it starts like actually getting back to being good, and he just started like spinning out. Basically, we weren't even drinking. He was like, "No, we've got to go for a walk." So, tell him what you downloaded.
Oh, GoldenEye 007, the old classic from 1997. It's been, I wouldn't say revamped. They've just tweaked it. Virtually the same graphics. Controls a bit easier because you haven't got that hellish N64 controller. But when that was out, I played that game to within an inch of my life. And so when it came out on Friday, I downloaded it on my break and then played the first level. My brother was playing it at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's how popular it is. But I played it for so long over the weekend. I think I may have given myself motion sickness yesterday.
That's amazing.
I was quite nauseous throughout the day.
Extraordinary.
I know, but it drastically reduced my hobby time over the weekend. But I regret nothing. I have no regrets at all.
No.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Hey,
Peter.
Hey, Peter. Maybe some in the chat. Oh, Martin probably has this, right? I'm building these Romano British.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6 in a unit, isn't there?
In ducks.
Ducks.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I'm doing a unit of 6 spearmen, would one of them have would one of them have a sword?
I've done that because I wanted a leader. Yeah, so they're just classed as what. They're not even spears, and swords make no difference. They're just called warriors.
That's fine. Cool.
So you've got elites, warriors, and levy. Levy are armed with slings and bows. The warriors are armed with whatever, and the elite. The only thing I used for elite was I just found some, because I used a gripping beast box, and those are mostly unarmored.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I just took, but there's, I think on every sprue there was 2 in chainmail, so I took the chainmail ones out to be the elites, or I found ones that had plumes or something like that. Right. I don't quite remember.
No, I felt like break it up. Plus, there's a pointy hand on this sprue, and it's got leader written all over it. So
yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're just a group. They're just a group. I think it's a little bit like is it sharp practice? I think no one's going to care if no one who's sensible is going to care.
I was going to say, be careful with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dom, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all. It's been a bit weird the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. I've just sort of had a real sort of, I don't know what's going on, but I feel, it's good. I can't complain. Everything's going well.
I thought you were about to say you only managed to do 2 units this week. Hello, Leon. How you doing, dude? Nice to see you. How's it going? Oh dear. Right. Well, let's crack on and see what everyone's been up to. So, as Steve has brought up his, actually no, let's start with Dom. Let's start with young Dominic. Dom, what have you been up to over the last week?
You sound like my mum. Nobody calls me Dominic except my mum.
Dominic. Oh dear. Oh.
And usually when I'm in trouble, which was most of the time, to be fair. What have I been doing? I am cracking on with the Bruces in Ireland project. So I did my first unit of
cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm really pleased with these. Are the mad 2-handed axe guys. Gallo Glass. I must get it right because somebody told me off in my video quite rightly. I got it completely wrong. Gallo Glass. So I'm aiming to have probably about 4 units of them. Something like that, I should imagine in the end. But they're good fun to paint up. So that was good.
They look sufficiently angry.
I think they get a +1, don't they, if they go charging into you? That's for sure. So,
I can't. I've got to bring this. I'll bring this up now. In our little chat group, he's not going to forgive me for this because he's in the chat. We were discussing the new Hail Caesar rules. I know a couple of people have got them. I don't know if you saw, but in Wargaming Soldier and Strategy, they've done a review, and the guy just happened to mention in there something about sort of like pikes and that. Miller straight in there because we have this disagreement. I don't know what the chat thinks. He thinks and he feels. I'm opening it up now. See what people. The infantry that charge units with pikes should not receive a charge bonus.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So no +1 to hit.
I think the problem with pikes in that period, in those rule books, is
Mhm.
that they're too defensive. I think they were used defensively, and you'd get no benefit for charging or doing.
Yeah, this went on this conversation in the chat for quite a long time. I favoured, instead of losing the charge bonus, there was actually a penalty to the order to charge. That people might think twice more about charging it, because there's still quite a few. Because we started pulling out examples where like, you know, for example, you know, pike units that were armed with pikes were beaten by non-pike units, and not just beaten, slaughtered, and pikes v pikes. If we've talked it was just he's in the chat, and he's probably now left. Oh yeah, we've gone down one viewer. There we go. Absolutely, Mortzik are pikes a range weapon. Exactly, and everyone knows
they are. Everyone knows they're a range weapon.
Absolutely,
obviously so.
But no, it's fine. I think I mean, if you throw enough people at a pipe block, right, then I think it's again, like, they're not. Are they proper pipe blocks? Who knows?
Well, this is the thing. I think that was what I was going to say. In that period, they're not really like they are Alexandrian or even later English Civil War pipe blocks, really, are they?
Yeah, but I was talking about that as well. Didn't the Roman legions just annihilate the Greeks?
Well, but that was because they were fighting them on unfavourable ground. So the pike were on quite rough ground, and they managed to break up the formation. Exactly. But yeah, you're right. Anyway, then whatever. I don't know. I mean, also, I think there was something about they moved from oh, am I back? There we go.
I don't know. You look like you sort of time warped or something.
Yeah, you were glitching in and out of the space-time continuum.
Did I do a Ken freeze?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yes. Absolutely. Forgot. He is still here. He is still here in spirit. Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Everyone's got their fix now. Look how happy he. That's how I like to feel that what happened to him. That's the face he was pulling when what happened to him.
Because he went
Oh, he looks so happy. That's not how he looks tonight. If you look at the expletive-ridden message that he sent.
It was quite colourful. Anyway, so yes, I did them. Then what else? I did a command group, which is going to be. So I got really, you know, I've got really into this campaign, and I'm reading a really good book, and it talked about all the different lords and what have you, because I'm trying to find names and what have you. So this is King Connor of Connaught is my thing. And the reason why I chose him is because it doesn't actually show on that picture, but it looks like a Lord of the Rings kind of flag. It's like a tree.
Okay.
It's a green tree with apples on it, and that's the flag of Connaught, apparently, from this period. Nice. So there you go. So that was them. And I did my first cavalry unit. I like that. I saw when you put that up. I really like that.
Yeah.
Although somebody pointed out the emblems are the wrong way around on some of them, but I don't care. They got up and got dressed the wrong side. That's all I'm going to say. So there you go. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with those. They've come out all right. They're all footsore Baron War figures, so that'll be a mercenary men at arms group for the campaign. And then because I don't want to get completely away from all the other projects I'm working on, I thought I'd do some more Boxer Rebellion figures.
Yeah, I saw those. I will admit, I was going through your photos. I was like, knights. Ah.
Yeah, Japanese Boxer coalition troops. So yeah, this is the North Star. Is it North Star Crusader? I don't know. North Star figures. You can buy them on their website, and I picked up the army deal because, of course, you would. And I thought I'd paint them up. So
I meant to say, we meant to bring this up last week. I couldn't find a photo. They've got lovely little army boxes now for muskets and tomahawks, haven't they?
They have. You're quite right.
Very, very nice. They did say that if you're doing mail order, you're not going to get them. But I thought it was really cool that those army boxes are going to go out to friendly local gaming stores and be on the shelves. They look really, really nice. So you can just go out. There's your muskets and tomahawks for us.
I did use the new Express paints on those.
Oh, you picked some of them up, have you?
Yeah, I pre-ordered them with Goblin, and they arrived last weekend, so I thought I'd have a go with them. So the blue is one of theirs, and
I assume you have a video on the way, but can you give us a little?
Well, I will if I get a chance to. I need to have a real play with them, but I'm quite impressed with them so far. They're not as contrasty, if that makes sense, as a contrast paint, but they flow really nicely. And I know people will love them because they're in dropper bottles. Rather than I actually prefer the other things myself, even though I knock them over from time to time. But yeah, I think I've been quite impressed. The skin tone, actually, if I put that one back up, where's it gone? You can see it. Oh, wrong one. You haven't got any skin tone. These guys. That's basically just straight dwarf flesh, I think it's called, over a white base. And it actually has a really nice color. I was quite impressed with it. So, yeah, I think they show a lot of promise. I need to have a proper explore with them, but I think they're pretty good. And although some of the colors are really weird. Thanks, Leslie. I have 2 banner bearers in the Japanese thing. I just haven't got around to painting them yet. So don't worry, there will be some Japanese flags, if nothing else. So, yeah, there you go. That's what I've been up to.
Okay. No, it sounds good. I mean, that's still a lot of output. Jesus, especially because again, that was just a week, and yeah, okay,
yeah, just a week. Well, I've been doing a lot of reading as well, and that's my excuse. And busy, but otherwise it's fine.
So, Steve, obviously, you managed to paint up loads of units from 2 different time periods.
I didn't. I had a weird one actually. Bit of everything. Well, some 40, some 30k, and some more historical. So I've been banging about. I'll start off with what I've finished. I've painted 2 more Death Guard for my not 30k Xenos Rampant project. So these are just 2 straight out of the box. Oh, actually, no, they're not straight out of the box. The guy with the multi melter, his arms are from the Betrayal at Calth box. I'm just really enjoying painting them. It's a bit of a pain in the arse scheme because to get that the uniform color, it takes loads and loads of layers, thin layers, to get like an even coverage. But yeah, I'm painting 2 at a time, and I'm really enjoying them. They're just something different, and they just look nice. They're just nice to paint. They're really lovely models as well. I'm enjoying the weathering as well.
Yeah,
that's given them a bit.
It looks very cool. I like the chipping on there.
Yes,
as well.
So I've only really done it on the legs where you'd expect them to have things chipped. Now, sticking to Death Guard, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about Nathaniel Garrow. My favourite sort of 30.
I think you've actually mentioned it every week since we started season 4.
It's because he's just great, isn't he? So I was having a look at the Forge World Garrow, and I wasn't impressed. Not with the actual figure and the cost of 51 quid as well. I thought that was slightly
51 quid.
51 quid. Yes, 51 quid. So I went through my bits box and made my own, and here he is.
That's cool.
I don't know how many kits are actually on that one model. There's Grey Knight, there's normal Space Marines, Betrayal at Calth. There's just all kinds of weirdness on there. That took me about. I'm actually finishing now. These are different from the photographs that I did put on the Facebook group, because I've put some packs, some grenades. Then around here I've put a pistol and stuff just to break up that the shape of the back. But yeah, that was probably 3 hours work from start to finish.
That is
and that literally just from bits that I had lying around in various boxes. I was quite chuffed with it. Still need to tidy up the modelling putty a bit, but apart from that, I don't know whether to paint him as what he was like as the in his sort of silvery dark armor, or paint him up in Death Guard colours. I really don't know.
The thing is, if you're going for like the pre Istan kind of stuff, then I guess it'd be in his own color, in his original colours, wouldn't he?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Plus, I do like the colour scheme, and I think he'd look really out of place if he was in his latter colour armour as well. But yeah, very chuffed with that. And then I've, as I mentioned before, I'm working on these. So it's the Wargaming Atlantic late Roman legionaries. And so I did my first test 3. And here we go. Ta-da!
I really like those.
Really good.
They're very nice.
Yeah,
The colours,
very good.
I mean, I've got no idea about colours. There's lots of chainmail. I just whacked in some random bright colours.
Well, that's it. I mean, the thing is, if you're going for the Arthurian period, which is, really just, the Romans have left, then you're going to have like the mix of the, they're all Romano-British by that point. But yeah, essentially, you haven't got the central organization.
Yeah.
So it's like, I like that. I think they look really, really good, mate.
So yeah, thank you. I guess I've never painted this period before. I watched a couple of documentaries last week on YouTube about Romans leaving Britain for a bit of bit of inspiration. And yeah, I thought I'm with what he said. The numbers in ducks are quite low anyway.
Yeah,
so,
they are.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think there's 36 in the first like the starting army you take. I think it's 24 to 36 off the top of my head. But when you recruit them, you're only picking up sort of 1 to 2 models a time.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically you get maybe 1 to 2 back, and then you roll for reinforcements if you get a certain if something happens, and then that would be another group of 6. It's never, you can suddenly get loads. It's another group of 6 or 4 cavalry or something like that. But so if you're doing the Romans, you can basically look on the list and you can actually work out the maximum you would ever need. But to be fair, I don't really foresee a time that if you could manage to get all of that, that would be massive. I mean, essentially, you need to pick up. Well, you don't have to pick up, but they get the heavy cavalry option, like the big sort of armored cataphract style cavalry, which you can then bring in later. But you can always pick, like, you just get a box of those from Gripping Beast. But I think what's quite fun about it is the campaign, because it's little numbers. If you played a game against someone and you did get reinforcements, it's like, I've only got to paint up 2 more models for the next game. That's it.
I think that's what I like about it. I'm just sit down and paint a unit of 24. As
well, you've just set Benjamin off. He's a few hundred, of course, with hand-painted shields, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm not going down that path.
You have changed, mate. I mean, when we first met you, it was all field grey, Second World War.
I know.
And now you're flipping into Dark Ages, for crying out
loud. I actually
had
a conversation with a mate over the weekend, and we were talking about project stalling. And I just said, I'm gonna paint what I want now. I've got enough armies for various systems. I don't need to sort of concentrate on just completely fulfilling a project. So I'm just painting what I like or what I want to do. So I've got 30k. I've got Dark Ages. I've got 6 mil Space Marines. I've got bolt action partisans. I've got some Escher gangers. I've got some O group Germans. Yeah, it's just like a smorgasbord of different paintings. So no, it's a new way. But I'm gonna. Like Matt said before on a Facebook group, I am diversifying into projects and periods I didn't think I'd ever get involved in. It's been interesting, really, really interesting.
To that point, Leslie asked me what's happened to my Sicily project. It's pretty much done, mate. Only got a few Arabs to do, and I kind of got a bit bored with them, so I will finish it off completely.
But he needs to finish it because me and Dom maybe have some plans for the next time there's a big battle, an event that's put on by us.
Possibly might come up at some point.
Maybe it might come up. We're just looking at it. Right, let's find a battle where these people actually fought. Perfect. Also, if anyone in the chat feels like painting up, about 6 divisions of Saracens, that'd be ace.
Not that we're giving any indication of what we might run, but yes, definitely we need Saracens.
By the way, at least about 75% of them are mounted. So if you could,
that's what got me. I kind of ran out of steam when I started. Oh my god, I got to do all those horse archers.
Can't we just do accounts as?
I think we should just do Normans against Normans. We should just have a little civil war going on.
They could do. You could do because wasn't Alexios, funny enough, this will come on to what I finished this week. But didn't Alexios hire Normans? Because he fought against Bohemond. He fought against Bohemond and Guiscard in Sicily. But didn't he hire? I can't remember the French. Oh God, the French one. I've forgotten his name. Who's the one who became king of Jerusalem?
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. Anyone can help in the chat. That would be this. Benjamin says, "Do you get to keep these Saracens?" Absolutely, because you'd be buying them, mate.
You'd be buying them. And them,
so yeah, absolutely. So I'll show. Comes on. So if you remember, I was working on my Byzantine unit because I want to have a Byzantine division for my Crusaders because that's kind of what I love about the Crusade is just all of these various troop types.
Martin, what kind of rabbit hole have you got into now?
A bad one, Dom.
Bad one.
Bad one. I've got, but it's partially your fault because you gave me the money off code for the North Star stuff, so that's your fault. What was originally going to be, I'll just have a token Byzantine unit, is now I've got a whole division of Byzantine stuff that's going to be done. I've also got books on Byzantine warfare, and I seem to have forgotten what my goal was. Like, I'm just going to do a Byzantine army now. No, I essentially figured I'd paint up a decent sized division, then they can operate with the Crusaders because they did for a long time, and then they can fight against the Crusaders. And then they can all fight it. It'll be fantastic. So I finished my first Byzantine unit, which is these guys. These are some heavy infantry. I've completely forgotten what they're called. So I did a Scutori. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think the Scutori.
Yeah, it's because it's a state on because they've got the large shield. As it's the later period, they've got the bigger shield. And I decided to use one of my Corsairs because I've got those in the box and basically kind of do like a mounted officer in there.
Really nice.
So yeah, I was pleased with that. Now, there you go, Steve. That transfer on that shield is a one to fit a Victrix Saxon shield. And so it didn't fit exactly. I just had to add a tiny bit of black around the edges. But that boss as well, I whittled that shield boss out of a bit of sprue because the shield doesn't have a boss, but this transfer has a hole in the middle of it. And I figured it was easier to do that than paint it yellow like the cross because I would always notice it. So
and it's yellow as well. So
yeah, so no, I was pleased with those.
Really
and of
good.
course,
flags. Lovely stuff.
And then you could probably see in the background the sort of palisaded fort I've been working on for it as well. So
another fort.
Yeah. We've got to have a fort. We've got to have some place for them to live. We've got to have somewhere for them to go. So
there's the objective for our game whenever we do it.
Yeah, well, no, exactly. We'll have them sallying out of the fort, and then the Crusade, and then the Crusaders probably setting fire to it. There we go, friends of General Haig. Yep, that's right. There we go.
Yeah, it is.
Scooter toy. Heavy infantry. There we go. The heavy infantry. Cheers, guys. But I after chatting in our little sort of Eastern Association PCP group. I think that's probably what I have to call it, the Eastern Association. It's not called that. I can't really say what it's called.
Not according to Ken, it's the Midlands.
Yeah, according to Ken, I do live in the Midlands, even though I'm not that far from the coast. I went back and if you remember, I was working on the Zulu command base. I finished that. So that's my first Zulu command base nice. For the Anglo-Zulu War stuff, so I got that done. You got the front two guys who are Perry, and then that guy at the back on the stolen horse, or rather liberated horse, is he's Empress. So is the guy kneeling. There we go. So no, I was pleased with that. I was actually I was really chuffed with how the ground came out. I know that sounds a bit because I've been doing them for. I was really pleased because on the command base,
you spend your life in mud, and now you're obsessed with mud on a bigger base.
I'm obsessed with the mud in this particular part of South Africa because, because it's got a certain reddish quality to it. So I was like, no, I can't possibly just. So I added weathering pigments into the basing paste that I use for doing my desert or Crusader bases to get the right kind of, and then just base it up the same way. But obviously on top of that, then you've actually got grass for a change, which you have got grass in the Crusaders, but I decided to be a bit more liberal with it. So that was lots of fun. And then because I thought, why not? I finished my first British base. So that was my test base.
Oh, excellent.
For my redcoats. Just seeing if the sort of the idea I had painting them would go up, because I wanted to do them sort of more desaturated than and not pretty, because because I painted these up as the 24th, who obviously didn't have a great time, and they'd already been over there for a long time. So I was reading an account that basically said they only got uniforms once a year. That's the way, if at all. So I wanted to kind of do more of a faded look, which I wish I'd done on my Napoleonic British now. Because my Napoleonic British was just his is very bright sort of reddish highlight, but it's nice to have the two armies look different. So yeah, I was pleased. But I'm basically going to be doing my British standard unit will be a company. So I'll do a few companies of the 24th, and then I'll do the Naval Brigade company, and maybe the 60th Rifles.
Are you doing black powder?
I'll be using them for black powder, yeah. But then I can equally use them for whatever, really, I suppose. I mean, for black powder, so yes, it'll be 3 bases of this will be 1 company, 8 companies to a battalion, and so
nice.
Makes sense in my head.
Well, it's weird you mentioned about the bleached look, on the uniforms. The other night I was painting, and I was just thinking about things that I don't paint some Napoleonics, and it's not very often that you see a Napoleonic army painted up the way they would actually have looked in the field.
No,
they're always pristine, aren't they? They're always.
And that's where everyone gets so excited on all these various forums about the exact color what they should be, and they would never have been like that.
I was going to say, if you've got a pair of white trousers on and you're yomping around on campaign for 2 months, they're not going to be white by the end, especially after being shot at. Mine would be distinctly brown.
That's for sure.
I don't know whether anyone would people actually see that as sort of a desecration of the models.
In some forums, they would.
Yeah, in some places, I guess so. Yeah, absolutely. I
suppose the thing with it is it's that I don't know. It's difficult to make a figure look grimy and dirty, but still look like you intended it to be like that. You know what I mean? That you just haven't hashed up the color. Whereas those look like deliberately that way.
Yeah.
But if you did it and it just didn't quite right, you'd think, oh, somebody's just made a right old hash of those Napoleonics. But I mean, it just amazes me how excited people get about that, particularly in Napoleonics. It's just, anyway.
Red Seth says, do I remember the Never Doing Zulus episode? Nope. Must have slipped my mind.
Can't possibly have been that. It can't possibly have been in this podcast. Not a chance.
No, that never happens. What are you talking about? That absolutely never happens. We never go back on our word. We never fall over our own comments. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Hold on a second, I got this. Shaco's just said, what size for King and Parliament base is it? It is, because I got my fresh consignment, it is the FKMP 13B, which is my workhorse base. And I now have 100 down here. So, but there, because that's what I'm basing the British on. But to get that, I don't like the term horde, but you know what I mean. The warback, for the Zulus, I don't mean that massed infantry look. I'm basing them much larger anyway. So still got the same frontage, but bigger footprint, which in my head makes sense. Leslie says it's a good reason to paint some more British naps. Nope, it's not. I did start getting flashbacks to painting all my Napoleonics, but fortunately there's less cross belts and sort of filigree, should we call it, mucking. There's less mucking about on the AZW ones. So
mucking about.
So, oh, hang on one second. Right, so let's have a look. So we've started some comments as we're going through. Guys, even though we're going to be talking about Wargaming Regrets tonight, we just want to have a bit of a paint and a chat. So if you've got any questions or you want to chat about anything, just chuck it into here. So we'll come on to that bit in a second. Well, question for Steve and Martin. Are those cape kind of thing? Steve, do you wear a cape?
Only when I'm my superhero alter ego. But apart from that, no, not.
Absolutely. What's your superhero alter ego's name?
I can't. It's classified.
I can't think of one. We were once trying to come up with a name for a band, and the only name I could think of was Stool Sample. I thought that'd be a good name for a death metal band. Anyway, sorry. Kinds of things, can't remember the name for all the minis in the Romano British box. You certainly in the Victrix one, there's not loads of them. I think there's 4 or 5. So not everyone has one. I don't know. Do you have capes on them? A cape option, Steve?
There's a sort of
Atlantic?
No. There's a sort of a fur type thing there. Tell you what, I'll take a photograph of the sprue later and whack it on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I can always. Oh no, I can't because I gave my other sprue away. Robin, take a picture of that sprue I gave you, dude. Whack it on the group. I'm doubting you built it because you should be doing Bavarians. What else? What else have we got on here? Nick Games says, this is in response to the Pike question, which did got some good responses on there, including one from Young James. Nick Games says, should be a roll if the player gets the charge bonus or not. The pikeman could have a bad day and not in shape for a charge, or they are unstoppable. A success roll to let you use the charge bonus. I quite like that idea. That's so is it more like, so maybe more of a because in Black Powder you have your form square charge response, so maybe they have to pass an order test to actually set the pikes.
I think that's not a bad idea. Although I have to, as a complete aside, have to talk about the game I had on Friday down the club of Black Powder, and we hadn't decided whether we were going to play the old version of cavalry, infantry forming square, or the new one where you, or was it from Clash of Whatsits? You have to
Clash
dice
of Eagles,
for your command. So we decided because we hadn't, we'd just do the straight up 1-1, 6. I promptly threw 6. So there you go. For the first charge.
Absolutely. See, I use the Clash of Eagles one because there's a time limit on the games we play.
Yeah.
And therefore, if the cavalry can get, but also I've played so many games, and I know this isn't representative of history, but I played so many games where my cavalry didn't do it. I just want to see them hit something.
I actually prefer that rule, even though I fell foul of the simpler one. I actually prefer it. I think it makes more sense to me.
Well, I think, I like that. What do you think in the chat? What do you think of that? Which, if you play Black Powder, what do you reckon? Do you prefer the standard one, which is 2d6, and you only fail it on a 6 to form square, or a 1 you form a disordered square, don't you?
That's right. No, it's the other way around. You 1 you don't form the square at all. 6 you form a disordered square.
That's it. And then the new version is you just pass an order test and you form a square. Yeah, which could be 6 or less, 7 or less. Well, 6 or less, 8 or less.
I think that's better because it affects the better quality troops generally. So the better quality troops should have a better chance of passing it. But then again, the command role is a commander role rather than the individual troops themselves. So I don't know.
Well,
I think
I got a couple. Yeah, it'd be shown. I prefer it that way, just because I like seeing the commander hit them.
I still
guys,
failed.
154 people in the chat. I think that's a.
Hey, it's a record.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you all for joining. Mort6 says wants to know if did Ken get banned tonight for the redacted thread on Facebook? No.
Yes, he's serving a ban, temporary punishment for his misbehaviour on the Facebook page.
Yes, there were words, and then don't worry. The conversation carried on afterwards when he said he found a loophole, and I might have started likening to certain politicians that have used.
There was a stream that we cannot possibly promote on here, but there was a stream in the WhatsApp group that was just unbelievably political, and
it was me finding headlines and placing certain people's names with the word Ken, basically. Ken was innocent. Ken
it was quite amusing.
It was a loophole. Yes, it was. I think eventually he got bored though because Shaco said he loved the guy in the tower lurking in the background on my show. That's one of my Breton mercenaries for Saga. It's the only guy I could find on a single base who is close at hand. So it was far enough away. I didn't think it would bother anybody. That there was there was a Breton, a lurking Breton in that tower. That is actually quite a nice little fort. It is 3D drink, but 3D printed. Obviously, it's 3D, but it's quite a handy little thing. And then finally, finally, Mortzik says, on the subject of South Africa, that's where my friend who's on Antarctica was on his way home when he got my request for a PCP flag on the South Pole. So he's already on his way back. We'll take South Africa.
Yeah, we haven't got South Africa yet.
Not like in a we'll have it kind of way, just we'll have a flag there. I don't really think we should go around planting flags, actually, thinking about things.
Why not? That's just probably true, actually. Now you say that, now I'm realizing, yes, you're quite right.
Absolutely. Oh, it's all
can
all
we
good fun.
yeah, we should have that sort of where's Wally kind of that thing of where's the flag. People go on their holidays and then show where they've seen the PCP.
Wherever anyone can get that flag. I still have one set of the PCP dice left. If someone can take a picture of a PCP flag in the weirdest location, we'll send you a set of dice, no matter where you are.
Good call. Good call.
No matter where you are. And to be fair, I've got one of the red ones left as well, so you'll get a bonus red one. There you go. I was having a bit of a clear out. So I found a few things. Right then. So guys, anyway, thank you very much, as I say, for logging on to stream. Remember to like the video, and the link to the Facebook group is down below. All you've got to do is answer Dom's questions free, but now's a really good time to come into the Facebook group because we've hopefully got a very cool announcement coming in February. And the more of you who are in the Facebook group and watching us, and if you're not in the Facebook group, it's not essential, but you'll see more of the announcements in there. We will be still announcing things on the stream, but that's the best way to keep up to date with news. We don't understand Twitter, so we don't have Twitter, and we have Instagram, but Steve doesn't update it. So
yes. We have a social media manager who doesn't do anything. You're on mute, mate.
You've muted yourself.
I didn't realize that was my domain.
Oh, it is, yeah. Well, neither of us understand it, so we've left it to you.
I understand it. I just don't. I don't need it.
I can't remember the login details. I'll have to look at that.
That's it. Right. Well, let's. This could feed into our wargaming regret. So, what I thought we'd chat about tonight, while we're doing a little bit of hobbying, what are you guys working on, by the way? Actually, while we're doing this, what are you doing?
I'm sticking together some of these War Games Atlantic. Romano British 3 more spearmen. They were really nice to paint as well. Really nice.
They look, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, and I've said this about other models quite a lot in the past, but they look straightforward and simple.
There's no fannying around with these. They're detailed to where they need to be detailed. I think any more than that, it'd just be adding stuff for the sake of adding stuff. But no, there's loads of options, great poses, really good details.
Just to say, so Red Sven 76, where we say we want a flag wherever, yes, geographically, please.
Yeah, sorry.
In the ground, although
actually some very amusing places would be quite funny, but that could get us in an awful lot of trouble, so we're not going to do that.
It could do. Where you put your flag is entirely up to you. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life or what to do with it. Your
life choices are your own.
However, we can only post up pictures of it. Like, we need to make a flag. We need to design a flag.
Do you remember years ago, I don't know if they still do it, a bit extreme ironing.
Yes.
Where people used to take photographs themselves ironing in the most exciting. It's like halfway up a mountain or in the middle of a desert. It's basically trying to do the ironing in such an extreme place as possible. It was quite amusing, actually. Not that I ever tried it. I hate ironing anyway, so.
No, we don't iron.
No, I don't. I just had to hang things up. That's it. I don't really own clothes that require ironing, though, to be fair. I have like one suit and then the suit that Ken's bought me, which I'll be donating to charity once it's.
No, in my previous managerial life, I was required to be suited and booted every day. So.
No, absolutely not. Dom, what are you building?
I'm getting increasingly frustrated by the fact that Footsword don't drill out hands for you. Hands are so frigging delicate that you don't have to.
Well, let's see. I'm drawing, but it is wargaming related. So I'm just doing some drawings, and I get frustrated because I've looked through 4 of my Wars of the Roses books now, and the single reference I'm looking for I cannot find, and it's upsetting me. It's really upsetting me. I need to know. I'm trying to find. You know the name. So I'm just looking for a specific phrase, but I suppose I can't really talk about it. It's going to give stuff away. So anyway, we're going to talk about wargaming regrets. Dom, What do you regret about wargaming? About drilling hands? I just
drilling bloody hands out. I love metal figures, but bloody drilling out hands. Jeez, they drive me insane.
Dom, look at these. Look, hands and weapon already attached. Isn't that?
Yeah, but you got to glue their heads on and everything. It's horrible. I don't like that. Don't like it.
These come in 5 pieces.
Can I just get it all in one piece? Why do you have to have separate weapons? That's what I don't understand.
Don't talk to me about separate anything until you've talked about separate feet. Okay, that's that. Well, that right there is the ultimate.
How many feet did you actually put on, or did you just stick them in mud?
No, I did glue them on. I just hid them all with cunningly placed clump foliage.
Steve, tell the lovely people watching. You sent it in the group. What did you send us a picture of? The interior of was that the interior to Huey?
Oh no! It was the interior of the name escapes me. The APC.
But what were you excited about?
The consoles.
A desk.
Yeah, it was a desk.
It was a desk with a typewriter.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here some nights. I really don't. I mean, it's just.
I will admit, seeing that preview, it's slightly moist. I will admit, because they do really detailed kits, do Rubicon, and that was a belter. I mean, it was only a preview, but that's the one, the M113. Cheers, Leslie. Yes, just a preview of the just a preview of the interior. Yeah, moist. Yeah.
I got to admit, when we got that picture, I did have to sort of double take because you just sent it, with like moist.
Yeah, with no details.
I'm like, what? So it's like, it's a desk.
It did look like a sort of architectural drawing of a desk.
It's a very, very nice desk.
Yeah,
that's all. You want to see the the cockpit for the Huey? Oh,
well,
and super glue. Why doesn't super glue work anymore? God damn it!
Here we go. Well, what do you mean? Why doesn't it? What super glue are you using?
This one is Loctite. Little tiddly.
Yeah, I use Loctite as well.
See, I just use this stuff. I just use the Gorilla Gorilla Gel. The Gorilla Glue Gel.
Well, too, what I do now use is. I didn't want to do it while we're on stream, but the applicator stuff, because at least that sets it. God damn. There we go. Right.
So this is a chance. This is meant to be lighthearted. What are your wargaming regrets? So have you actually got a proper axe to grind? Is there a Kickstarter you wish you jumped onto and you never did, and then you saw the models? Is there something that you wish that you'd never gotten into and you wasted a lot of time getting into it, or something along those lines? I'll kick it off. All right. I regret not setting up my Napoleonic, being more free thinking with my Napoleonic basing and the formation of my battalions. I went rigidly with 6 figures a base, 4 bases, a battalion, all in lines with not much room for doing much base. But how my modeling and my painting has changed. Now, a bit like I'm doing with the Zulus, I would cut down the number of figures and have them doing more interesting things, because to me personally, that's more visually appealing. I completely understand that other people love that ranked up look and the tyrants. I completely understand, and I do think it looks cool. But for me personally, I wish I'd have gone the other way, and I really, really regret putting 12 horses to a regiment of cavalry when I could have just done 9 like I do now, and then had some left over. So I really regret that. But I don't know. Do you? What about you guys? Is there something like that along those lines? Do you wish you did a project and then you've done something like gone, do you know what? I wish I'd have done it like that.
I wish. Do you know these days I use cork for basing? Even on infantry, I use cork. I only started doing that sort of 3 years ago. So all my Germans haven't got cork bases. I think there's something grossly perverse about just gluing a figure to a base. It's got to be just like on a piece of cork.
That's a weird way to go. Yeah. I don't know. I can't honestly say there's because without getting all hippie on you, I kind of like the sort of journey bit that you go through that. To learn as you go along, and so some figures are a bit.
You're so deep. You're so deep.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, mate. I will get over it and just go back to shallow Dom again very, very soon. Don't worry. I kind of regret certain, I guess, armies, maybe. But then do I even that? No, I don't think I do. Apart from Saga, I obviously regret Saga, Graham.
You regret the Saga?
Yeah.
Oh dear, if you two played again.
No, he wants me to play again. I said no.
Yeah.
Although I should do, because he's on a losing roll. He's played 3 weeks on the trot down at the club and lost all 3 games. And he's only cheated twice out of those 3 games as well. Amazing.
Wow.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, my regret. See, I don't regret buying. Well, I won the first set of Napoleonics, but I don't regret any of that. I just think about how I do things, but I would never go back and redo it. I couldn't face it. I couldn't do it, and I love having that look at it, but. I do when I was like lining up the Zulus and the British infantry now, and I was like, well, I kind of like, as you've probably noticed, I quite like the ends of my battalions now be pointing in other directions. I like them to be sort of scoping out, because soldiers would be modern. You don't just stare rigidly ahead. I know you have line of sight in the game, but that doesn't mean it can't look like that. So I do feel like I would do things a little bit differently. Like I've got single base skirmishers. That drives me potty when we play Black Powder or anything like that. I've got single base skirmishers. Drives me nuts.
Why don't you get a little Sabo thing and put it on the base, and then you can
because that's just a cop out. That's if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. If you're gonna do it, I'm gonna go the whole. Oh, Steve, what about you? Do you looking at, say, some of your earlier bolt action stuff?
Yeah, my Germans. I mean, I know last year I revamped sort of about just over 1,000 points of them, because it's just one day they've been.
He only cheated twice.
They'd been locked away in a box. I hadn't looked at them since I made a video on them like a couple of years earlier. And when I opened them, I was genuinely shocked at just how crap some of them looked compared to how I paint now, and the time that I put into my infantry. I was shocked at just how basic some of them were. Just really, really shockingly basic. So I didn't want, when I started revamping them, I didn't want to rip them off the base. I just wanted to add to it, sort of improve on what I'd already done. And I was happy with the work I did, because it was just a case of funky bases and a few highlights, and that was it. But I was really tempted to rip them all off the bases and put them all on cork bases, but I just didn't have the intestinal fortitude to do so.
What about sort of games? Because
I've got one.
Yeah, go on then.
Mordheim.
Yes.
Never played it. And everyone I meet who's played Mordheim, they always go, "Oh, Mordheim, oh," and I'm just jealous that I never got to play it.
I know there's always, and Ken would say this, there's nothing to stop you playing it, but there is that buzz around a game, a new
there
game,
is.
or a new.
If you miss that wave, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and totally. And I was trying to think of a system. I guess I sort of regret not jumping on, and Dom won't care or fizz about this, but the game Infinity. I really enjoyed Infinity when I played it, but I got into it when it was in its 3rd edition. Played it solidly for a good 6 months, and then didn't touch it again, because I found it quite. Everyone from the previous editions was moving on really, really fast with everything, and the hype just sort of left me behind. Really, I sort of tried. So I think if I'd have gotten into it earlier, I'd have probably got more mileage out of it. I still got the models, and I'll probably have another game one day. But there's other things. My interests lie sort of elsewhere now. What about you, Dom? Is there a system that you wish you jumped on? Or do you just jump on each one you want?
I'll just jump on everything. No, I think there's two that really sort of that actually I probably still will actually do because they're current systems, but I regret that I haven't got as excited as everyone else does, and that's Chain of Command and Infamy. I think those two systems, for whatever reason, I just have never really got into them, and I would like to. And I think partly because, well, I know for Chain of Command, it's because I've only played a couple of games, and they weren't actually terribly good fun games because it just didn't play very well, the game. That happens in things, and I think I kind of got a bit. Alex is probably sputtering his tea, but I didn't enjoy them, and I'd like to enjoy it. And Infamy, I think we all sort of tried that out in the club, and it's a really involved system. And we kind of ran out of steam, and you had to then relearn it all. You needed a lot of time to learn that properly, to play it properly, and we just move on to everything else. But I would really like to get into that in a big way, but it's time. And when you're only playing probably one time a week and you want to play different things at different times, a rule system where you have to constantly relearn.
Dom, I remember when you were doing your Infamy videos, just how excited you were.
I was really excited.
Because you hadn't. I don't think you'd played the game before you started putting the armies together, had you?
No, because I've always wanted a nice Ancients rule set that I'd really enjoy playing, and I thought that was it because it's a Lardy game, and I love Lardy games, and it was like, and we played a couple of games, and they were okay, but it was so one-sided. It wasn't any fun.
Yeah, I remember how excited you were about it, and then and I will say the rather crestfallen Dom that we got the next week when we asked you to sort of elaborate on how it played. But
speaking of Ancients, did you actually ever play SPQR?
I did a couple of games of that.
He's opening a wound. What would you do? He's basically.
Are you just trying to make me feel bad?
No, I couldn't remember.
Yes, that's another fucking awful system. I hated every minute of it. Yeah, that was another system I did really look forward to. Again, I thought I was really looking forward to it without playing it because I thought, oh, finally another rule set, which makes me a little nervous about Dave Brown's ancient set that he talked about when he was on here, because I thought I'm really looking forward to that, and I thought the last two ancient rule sets I've been really looking forward to have been a big disappointment. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, old rules, I don't know. I can't think of anything particularly that because I always play. It's the group of mates that I'm playing with and the games I'm enjoying that I enjoy. And we play whatever we play. And I don't really sort of look around and go, I wish I'd played X, Y, and Z particularly, because we have a laugh doing what we do. And if we don't, we stop playing it. So it's difficult.
Okay. No, it is interesting just seeing, because I say, ultimately we can just get rid of anything that we don't want. But there is sometimes that buzz that jumps in on things. Now, there's something that I'm going to come on to in the news, which I'm hoping is going to sort of reignite something that I wish I jumped on initially, because by the time I got into it, like no one was playing it. But I certainly wish. I don't regret. This is weird. If I did regret doing anything, I guess it would probably be those Carthaginians, which have now gone to a very good home, Sam. So I know they're being looked after, and I think I liked the idea of the project more than doing it. And I did the thing that I don't do, which is I bought the shitloads, didn't I?
Oh, you went in big time.
I spent a lot. Whereas I should have just bought one pack, seen if I'd enjoyed it, and then do it, which is now what I do with everything. All these current projects, the Zulu stuff, the Crusades, it started with just buying one pack and making sure, no, I am happy doing this, because I don't really want to do that again. Shall we see what the chat's saying? Because I've got 23 starred comments.
I have to say, while you're going back through them all again, I will say the one thing I do regret is not doing what you do now, which is just getting those little testers. You've seen, we mentioned SPQR, we mentioned Infamy, you mentioned other things. I'll just go balls deep in. I'll just go for it in a big way before I even know whether I like the system. And then I get the system and it's like, yeah. So I must discipline myself, but that's never going to happen, is it? We know.
No, yeah, exactly. Then it won't be boots on the table.
It'll be little crumbs around. No, I don't know.
Dom's crumbs. Go down. We're going down the dark passage. So let's see what's going to chat. I've got a good one for you guys, which after we've done this, we'll do the news, and then I've got a question that's actually just more personal to us about regret. It's to do with wargaming. It's not about our lives or anything like that.
Thank God Ken wasn't on tonight. That's all I'm going to say, because he would have launched into all kinds of things, wouldn't he?
Oh dear! Can you imagine? Like, what do you regret, Ken? Moving, my job, everything, living in the south. And then it's going to just be a therapy session. Bless you if you're watching. I hope you're all right. Bless you. I'm looking forward to next week when he says what happened. So over we go. So 999 Payden said that his biggest regret was not doing wargaming 30 years ago. Now I've seen this pop up quite a bit. There are people wishing they got into it sooner. At least you're here now. That's the thing. And so just absolutely.
So I'm intrigued. Why didn't you? Was it because there was no opportunity to, or you didn't think it was cool, or you didn't have the money for it, or why didn't people? That's what always intrigues me with that when people say, because you do hear that a lot, don't you? Or which I got into it.
I mean, sometimes it's the social stigma thing, which is completely understandable, and things have moved on. Did any of you guys hear what's the guy on Radio 2? Jeremy Vine, talking about Warhammer.
Oh, Simon mentioned that the other day on the.
I listened to it. Do you know what? He was talking about it, and they had some guy who, as far as I know, I think he works at the BBC. He bought his models in, and so Jeremy Vine was then trying to paint one while he was on the radio.
Oh, really?
It was actually, yeah. It's on. If you type it into Google, just put Jeremy Vine Warhammer in. He's kind of doing it off and on through the episode. And then there are people ringing in, all these mums ringing in, saying how good it is because their kids are actually doing something that isn't looking at a laptop, even it's arithmetic and and social and all this. It was really good actually. I did think it was quite funny when one of the guys you rang in, he basically started to go into the lore a little bit, and Jeremy Vine's voice went a bit like Dom's does. When he started talking about it, I was like, he's going, we're losing him. He's going.
Did someone time ringing and tell him he was doing the wrong color scheme or something?
Right. No, he did ask if there's like set color schemes, and the guy said, "You just do what you want and thin your paints." And do you know what? I actually thought it was really well done. I thought it was good. Essentially, it started because Warhammer, or Games Workshop, reported more profits than Marks and Spencer.
Yeah.
So,
do you actually think that wargaming is more ingrained into sort of society more today than it ever has been?
Yeah.
I actually do. I think it's certainly more acceptable.
Yeah.
My daughter Imogen, she always talks about the rise of the geeks because she considers herself a geek as well, and I just think it's much more acceptable to be a little bit quirky and do something a bit different than it ever was. Mm-hmm. And I think wargaming benefits from that myself. Whereas it used to be, you never mentioned it. I think people sort of, and when you do mention it, more people sort of say, "Oh, that's interesting," or "That's intriguing."
I didn't tell anyone for years.
I need to put this up here. Leslie, that's a cracker. Dom, he's renamed your channel Tears on the Table.
Very good, Leslie.
That's it. And Graham, why haven't you just called your channel War Graham? Wargaming with War Graham. Sorry. Saga with War Graham. Sorry. Sorry. I don't know why. So Hippo says, I thought he was the only one who liked regular pots over droppers. Oh, sorry, I missed that. That should have come up earlier. I quite liked it just because of the little palette in the top, although I do swear like a trooper when I've got to unpick the dried up paint from behind.
Yeah, that's a bit of a
And
when you do it, can knock them over. But I prefer them because it's an instant palette. It's perfect.
Yeah, you can't see it. So the window is just here, right? And I found contrast paint splattered up this window, and I can't work out how. The paint lid must have flipped back, and it catapulted. But all my Zulus are under. All my Zulus, you can't see them in a minute. But actually, hang on, I'll turn the camera. There we go. Look, all my Zulus that I've just finished recently are here. So that meant that paint flew over the top of them and then splattered over the window. So I sat here the other day going, "Oh no, where is it? Where's they gone?" Absolutely. No, I think they're all right. Okay, so John says his wargaming regret following Alex at Storm of Steel. He's going to O-Group and now through the mud and the blood. Not being serious. I think
it's dangerous.
Serious. It is dangerous.
Hashtag blame Alex. Yeah,
Alex, I saw those lovely looking trackers that you had through for the mud and the blood. They looked awesome. I might have to have a chat with you about what you said to Warbases and to get that, because that looked awesome. I love the image on it as well, that you got the black and white image. I thought they looked wicked. Next up, Benjamin, do you regret buying a lot of Saxons and Normans by any chance? Let's have a look. We should all just take photos of us painting miniatures in unusual places. No, because everyone's going to be sitting on the bog. Really bunch of bog stealthers. All right, so we have a regret from Storm of Steel. Here we go. Now we have a regret from Storm of Steel. Get it off your chest. My regret is buying Battlefronts: The Great Wardy.
I watched Alex's update at the weekend, and it was a picture of somebody trying not to launch into a diatribe about why something was absolute crap, and trying, but then thinking, should I? And you could just see his brain going, I really want to say what I really think about this, but then I don't, and then I do, and he went, I might do a review if anybody wants me to.
yeah, and then because you put it under the title of review, it doesn't count. No, because it's valid. It's always valid. It's just especially valid if it's a review. Andy says that he wasted a lot of money on Mythic Battles Pantheon. He never played loads of bloody stuff. Do you know what? We have played tons of that. My mate Kev, who I do a lot of the gaming with, you've met Kev, haven't you, Dom? Down at Salute.
Yeah, indeed.
He backed the whole thing, and he's backed every Kickstarter, and we have played that to death. I think we've used every single thing, and I love it. It's a cracking game. It's one of those games that there's just so many options and so much stuff that you could quite easily be overwhelmed. But if you break it down and just get into it, it's a really nice system. It's quite fun having Zeus beating the snot out of like Ares while a Hydra like is being chased by Aphrodite or something like that. It's really good fun. And then also they crossed it over with the Conan board game, so you could have Conan beating the shit out of like I don't know, Poseidon, because that why not?
Why not?
That's a good one. Alex is back again with another one. Here we go. I just went through starring all of these when he's turned up. This is his serious regret, not buying Undaunted Normandy when it was first released. Now, Steve, you've picked this up, haven't you?
Yes, it's Alex's fault.
Do you concur?
Yes, it's a very, very good game. It's what I like about it is the mechanics. Largely very simple, but the underlying tactics, so it just gets you thinking. It's just such a good game. I'd recommend anyone to play it. It's just a really good game.
Absolutely.
It's a board game, isn't it, basically?
Yes.
You said that with such a sort of dirty kind of like
such disdain in your voice that it's a board game.
No, I didn't mean it like that at all. Genuinely, I like board games. I just don't play them, but I do like them.
Too much time for war games. That's the issue, isn't it?
Exactly. It takes away time from figures.
Absolutely. So Peter, I regret stopping war games painting and purchasing during my early marriages. I'd say we're all fairly blessed with that our partners either don't care or are semi-interested in it. I showed that bloody Zulu base, the command base, to Haley, and she said that the horse was looking too much the other way in there, and she didn't think that she thought the horse would be quite interested in the guy that was kneeling. I was like, I can't just bend its head. Like what?
Love it.
I'm seeing a bit of a trend here because Benjamin's next one is his wargaming regret is not getting divorced sooner. So you may have won the evening. He wasted so much time that he could have been spent on wargaming, painting miniatures, not to mention the money that could have been spent. So Benjamin, were you into wargaming before this, or is it something that you got into after? I feel like that might be a bit of a personal. You don't have to answer that.
Don't answer it.
Don't answer it. Joseph says I regret doing Cruel Seas. Which one's Cruel Seas?
That's the small.
That's the motorboats.
Motorboat game. Yeah.
The patrol boats, all that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
it was the first one that was
The
released.
first one, yeah.
But wasn't it like left hanging?
Yeah,
No,
the
no,
rule book. I don't think the rule book had been proofread very much, or I don't think it
No.
play tested a lot.
No.
I think a lot of people were. I know people still play it. I know.
I think it's supposed to be quite a good system. But
Yeah,
I
my
think
mate
you do
bought-
have to work through it. I think you have to work.
Yeah, I know that Andy Shaw's he spent the last year painting up this starter box, hasn't he?
So yeah, my mate's got it. We've played it a couple of times, but I think we played it a few times when he got it, and then we haven't ever got it out again. It was maybe something to crack out. Okay, Tim, crackpot of 2022. His regret is not starting earlier in Wargaming again. Another one, but well resolved. Red Sven, his regret is not trimming down my GW excess from staff days earlier. Next up, we have Jason Wilcox, who says his only regret is being out the hobby for 30 years.
Mm.
I mean, I've had times when the longest I was out the hobby was probably between sort of 1999 to about 2004. Round about. I mean, I sort of dabbled in between, but 2004 was when I found bolt action and sort of got right back into it. But between sort of those 5 or 6 years, didn't really do a lot of painting or anything.
Yeah. I had 10, 15 years out. I think real life sometimes just takes over, doesn't it? I mean, family stuff and what have you certainly did for me, and I couldn't do it. So,
absolutely.
Made up for it now.
All right.
Daniel says he loves Cruel Seas.
There we go. Someone get Dom, yellow card, please, mate. I want that yellow card. Go and find it for me, please. Right, okay. Sam.
No, we're gonna do that one.
Sam. Oh, and after I do. Do you know what? Right. I regret. It's not only regret. I almost feel like I have to pay a pen. I know people like 6 mil. I get it. It's just those. It's just those. They have. If I touch 6 mil again, it's going to be a long time because they just sapped my.
Do you know? I have to say, it did cure me. I've thought many times, it'd be great to have 6 mil armies and actually the ease of playing a big game and what have you. And
we were planning it together, weren't we?
We were. We
had a phone call where we planned our basing together. And we kind of worked out it was. Yeah, we had this whole plan, and then we didn't really talk about it for a while. I painted them up, and then I found out that Dom sold them when we went to warfare together.
But you know, the only reason why we were even going to paint them up was that challenge Ken gave us, wasn't it? Wasn't it that one?
Well, Ken did that because he had some 6 mil goals or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
He thought he was going to win, and I heard that on the stream or something the week because I was off, wasn't I? I was on holiday or when I did it, so I painted it up really, really fast. Yes, I was in Newcastle that week. It was just
the sheer bloody mindedness of all of us to suddenly go, right, we'll paint these up just to beat him, just to do it before Ken does. And I know.
Looking back on it, we probably should have just let him have that. That might have been the straw that broke the camel's
back. That would have been funny, wouldn't it?
Next up, Ryan says his regret is backing Joan of Arc, Time of Legends,
Interesting.
And selling old armies. I thought I didn't want. See, I
thought that was very good. Everyone talks about how good that is.
It's by the same people that did Mythic Battles, I think. Because hang on, a company that did Mythic Battles or they did Conan split into Monolith and I can't remember the other company. But they Mythic. There you go. That's who it's. And I can't remember which one does Joan of Arc. But they produced it, and I think a lot of people had plans that they were going to use it for 15 mil wargaming, and maybe that didn't materialize because the models are nice. I like them. The game itself is also one of the only things I've consistently won, and I play as the French, and I absolutely hammer the English every time we play. So we haven't.
It must be a broken system, don't you think, Steve? If he wins every game, that's just something's broken.
Something's clearly going very wrong there.
Probably. Okay, next up, Roger says he regrets moving from 135th to 28 mil. That's the first scale one, man. I wonder if there is
interesting.
Interesting. What is it about it? Is it just the? Is it the price? Is it the painting? But what is it particularly? John. I sort of regret backing the Sedition Wars Kickstarter. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was a huge. Who is it who wrote it? It was one of the original GW. It wasn't Rick Priestley, was it? Was it Rick Priestley? I remember it was meant to be like a huge thing. Sedition Wars. It was really popular. And then I don't remember really hearing anything about it. I completely forgotten about that. Lionheart. My regret was getting rid of Warhammer Fantasy Bretonians. I flogged mine off, but they are a classic. They are lovely.
Yeah,
they're worth a lot of money. Hippo. I regret not starting earlier with historical minis. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you finally found it, mate. You finally found it.
Oh, here we go. Paul. I regret getting into War Machine. Spent too much money on it and hated the game. Great lore, absolutely. But the lore for that game, because it was originally an RPG setting, wasn't it? For it was a mod essentially for Dungeons and Dragons, and then they made a war game. See, I love the idea of War Machine. I love the lore of War Machine. I love the models in War Machine. I just hated the scenarios. I know you could always written your own, but the models and the gaming system were designed specifically, and the ethos of the game was just to smash into each other as fast as possible without any kind of nuance or tactics at all. And most of the scenarios are won by that. And yes, you don't have to play that, but when all the models are designed, their stats to just beat the shit out of each other, that's kind of the only
it was the way when I first started playing War Machine, we tried to play it as like how we'd normally played war games in the past, a bit cautious. And we realised there's no subtlety here. We just go into the middle, and every game we had used to end up with all the jacks in the middle just punching the living crap out of each other, and it was always fun.
Well, if you watch games on YouTube, and again they're really well shot videos, but it's when I can tell if I'm going to like a game quite quickly by how they deploy. And they just deploy as a big mash, all of the units kind of like smashed up right together, right on the edge of the deployment zone, right at the front, and it's literally right now go. And they slam into each other. But then that is the ethos of the game. It is. So that's just me probably not doing enough research or getting into something. Mobile and hostile. My one regret would be backing the Other Side Malifaux Kickstarter. It took forever to deliver, and despite fantastic sculpts, he's really terrible, soft, bendy plastic that won't straighten out. I know nothing about it. Is that a Malifaux spin-off game? What is that? Is that another version?
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
We have a t-shirt suggestion. Benjamin, I'll jump on anything. Next PCP t-shirt. That's because of Dom.
I like that suggestion. Very nice.
Steve Harbour, never regretted doing a project. I slightly regret never finishing a project.
Good man.
Never been truly happy.
Good man.
And then Paul comes in with I also regret Malifaux again. Great lore, lovely models, but it gives me a migraine. I feel the same way. I loved the very first wave of Malifaux. I loved the little trigger system. And then when the second wave of models came up, they as you do in these kind of systems, they started one-upping everything. And it became, in like Sherlock Holmes or the Sherlock series, when he's doing his deductions and all of the sort of equations appear, like it's like in the film A Beautiful Mind. Yeah, that's what it's like trying to work out what's going on in Malifaux. No, seriously. So I charged you, but you triggered a reaction. But now I've triggered a reaction to your reaction. But now you've done this genuinely. This. So now we flip to see whose comes off first. Okay, yours came off first. Go back down the line. So was the charge successful? Oh, the charge was successful. Right.
Oh my God.
Can I hit you now? And then it repeat. I've obviously I jest, but that's how it.
Only
felt.
just.
Not only just. Right. I'm going to leave some of these comments. So we've got a few more to go through. I think we're going to go to the news. But before we go to the news, I'm going to pose a question to the guys. And obviously we've all got channels. Is there a video that you have done that you regret making? Have a think about that while we go to the news. Dom, are you able to do the honours?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, hang on a sec. Let me find it. Speak amongst yourselves when I get to the bottom. Blah 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 blah. Here we go.
still think they should walk down the aisle to that. Or Ken will be sneaking around doing that. He still hasn't told me anything else. He hasn't sent me this reading that he was going on about last week. All he did was on was it Wednesday? On Wednesday, he rang me to say that because after the stream, if you guys watched the stream last week, we talked about solo wargaming. I talked about game books and Lone Wolf. So he went and bought the new Lone Wolf book straight away. He completed it, and we had this really long chat. And he couldn't because he missed out on game books. I don't know how, but he completely just skipped through it. And it was like a revelation to him how good it was and how he loved the story. Now, how I never want to play an RPG game with him because he essentially was abandoning everyone to their fate in this.
Are you really surprised? I mean,
that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, I'm not in the remotest surprised by that.
Yeah, so that's but yeah. So anyway, he's that's what he's doing. So he did buy it and he's completed it already, but he's playing it again. Then he did send that thing that he sent that thing to us going, you know, a book. You can do it again. It's like, yes, Ken, you can read a book once. You can. I know what you meant, but I was being facetious. Dom, what have you seen in the news this?
I think you got the things I got this week, so you got him before me, but I only had one, which is this one.
Oh yes,
doing a new truck, a Chevrolet. So yeah, I mean, trucks are not particularly sexy, but particularly in bolt action, they're kind of useful. So a new Chevrolet model is out for Canadians. So I guess that's for the new D-Day book, or the relatively new D-Day book primarily. But yeah, that's all I saw. Well, I did see some other things, but you got them. So
I got them right. Well, okay. Ooh. Okay, well,
that surprised you, didn't it?
Let's start with something. Well, there was I don't know where it was. I want to say Vegas. There was a big Gamers Workshop meet. Steve, I don't know if this is going to interest you. This was the first Warhammer model 40k model I ever bought back in like '93. But they've now got new Adeptus.
Oh, the Adeptus Albites, yes.
Essentially Judge Dredd, but in 40k. Yeah. So anyway, they've got all sorts of new releases. I couldn't save them all. I thought this one looked the most cool because I know there are people who enjoy Kill Team in the group, and I really like these models. I'd go over to the Warhammer community website. They've got lots of because the dog is back.
Yeah, the
dog is back, and they do look cool. I'm not too sure what they've done with the leader. There's like some kind of weird floating thing behind him. I kind of wish that wasn't there. But if I was going to get a Kill Team, I would get them because they just look cool. And that would make. I was thinking about maybe Xenos Rampant using them. But yeah, totally not Judge Dredd.
So as a non-GW person, is that just basically a skirmish version of Warhammer?
Well, 40k,
40k, sorry.
Yes, it is. But to a lot of people, and especially in my little sort of gaming circle, they prefer it because it's more narrative. The differences in the, shall we say, between the superhuman and the human really comes out because a space marine, for example, is quite a few more points in a normal guy, so you won't have the numbers thing is a bit different, and it's campaign play. Right. And you build up your little squad. So yeah, it's not the same rules. It's different rules, and there's like interrupt actions, and you're not all going at the same time. Or sorry, it's not you move your whole army, I move mine. It is a sort of I move one, you move one, I'll interrupt you kind of thing. That some guy gets wounded, suppressed. So it is different. Personally, I prefer it to 40k, but that's because I haven't actually played 40k for a very long time. I like Kill Team, and also you need like 5 models. So,
I was going to say it also sounds like a heck of a lot cheaper.
I think it is if you build it yourself. If you buy a box like that, it's still going to be over 100 quid for that box, I think.
Really?
Which is but that box again, it's the rule book, it's the scenery, it's 2 forces. But there you go. But I if I was going to play because my favorite game that Games Workshop makes is the Middle Earth game. But if I was going to do a 40k thing, I'd do Kill Team. Anyway, next up, I saw this, and I'm sure people who are on the Victrix mailing list saw this. The World War II Company Commander, which is their I don't know if they're developing it themselves or they're just involved in its development or in promoting it. But this is a I'm reading off their email here. It's a revolutionary tabletop wargaming app with augmented reality and complete digital rules system. A World War II company commander combines tabletop miniatures with a digital application to manage army lists, track turns, measure distances, run calculations, and track damage. A unified digital and physical experience with a complete digital rule system. No need for tape measures, dice, or manual scorekeeping. Use your phone or tablet to measure distances, damage, and turns for fast and immersive gameplay. Now, what do you reckon?
I was actually approached to test that, and I never got any interest down the club to do it. To be absolutely honest, because I thought it sounded kind of interesting. It was obviously a pre-production version of it, and I kind of like the idea of it, but I also I'm too old-fashioned. I like the a book to look through and what have you. I don't like PDF rules. I'll print them out or get them done on documents. So that kind of thing. And then the idea of actually measuring for you as well put me off.
Yeah. Steve, what about
dice
you?
rolls? Oof, no.
I was more amazed at how many buzzwords they could cram into that one.
I love it.
I just thought that because I couldn't understand any of it. I'll be honest. It's like someone saying we're gonna combine these paradigms into some kind of vehicle for self improvement. It just all that crap just goes over my head. It just sounded corporate buzzword to me. But is it an actual game? What is it?
It is. Yes, it's a full game.
It's a set of rules and everything, basically. So you've got everything on your phone or your tablet or whatever to play the game. So army lists, the actual rules. I think it does the calculations as well, doesn't it? I think if you
it does.
From what I remember,
it should do. Yeah, it should do the whole shebang.
Do you roll dice? Does it roll dice?
No, it does. No, you just move the models around.
You are the dummy that moves the figures, and the rules do the thing. And I think that's what put us a bit off. I didn't like that.
I think the idea of playing a war game is the visceral side. It's the moving figures, the rolling dice, it's the tape measures. Is it just in? Oh, what's that range? If everything's done on a phone or a tablet, it's just so sterile.
Yeah. I kind of agree, Steve. That's kind of what put me off. I think put us off anyway. No, interesting.
No, it's a I've got to be honest that it doesn't hold any particular interest for me, but completely understand others you will. I saw that Battlefront are releasing another starter set for Flames of War.
No.
Clash of Steel. And so they're going into 45 because I believe isn't that the Reichstag burning down in the in the background?
Yes,
and also there we go. There is the Berlin Soviet book as well, which is
very good
on pre-order. So lots of lovely stuff. I've got to say, I know I still haven't finished painting mine, so I need to sort my life out and get it done. But these starter sets that they're doing, not the army sets, but these little starters with two fairly small armies, I think they are fantastic. And I've got to say that still the Tobruk one that I've got, which I still have to do the Italians for, fantastic value. Even if you're not going to use it for Flames of War, even if you want to try a war game. And you just wanted to try and play something, and you want to try one out. Fantastic values, cheaper than a video game, and you get the full rule book, and you get absolutely everything in it.
I was when they released that Tobruk one, I actually did a double take when I found out the price. So I thought there's no way you could get a starter set of that quality for that price. But like Martin said, it's absolutely packed to the gills with figures and tanks and rules and dice. It's just self-contained. And I know me and Dom have mentioned it quite a few times, but those Battlefront plastics, the vehicles, literally some of the best plastics on the market at the moment.
Except for that stupid machine gun that I couldn't work out where it went until one of you told me that there was some like variant tank, but I still couldn't put the machine gun and the gun. Anyway, Leslie said buy them for O Group. I one day will play O Group. One
Good
day.
system.
There's so many other things to play. It's all like all these obvious. Like I want Dom to try out By Fire and Sword with me. I should probably try out O Group with him. That would actually just involve me and Dom meeting each other.
I know we'd actually have to get together and have a game,
met,
mate.
Yeah, and just and not a place. Obviously, we've met each other, but I like Daniel's review of the app.
Yuck.
Yeah, fair point.
I understand that completely. Now, this is the one. So this is the news. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Where I said I regretted not getting into a system earlier, but because the kind of the hype. I wouldn't say the hype had died down because again, it wasn't that there wasn't people who played it, but if they were not doing new releases for it, and then you find out there might be a new edition coming out, people stop wanting to play. I find, but Gangs of Rome 2 will be coming to Kickstarter in March 2023.
I thought you played this before.
I've played it 3 times because because they started to release, and they released a starter set where you had the temple, and they released a starter set Bread and Circuses. I bought Bread and Circuses, and I was really excited, and then they didn't release anything else after it, like anything, and that was about it was the Salute before COVID,
right?
It was a Salute. It was when it was the year they released Mortal Gods. Because everyone was there picking up their Mortal Gods boxes, and I was trying to get to the Gangs of Rome stuff. And I love the idea of it. I think it's brilliant. I loved the system. I loved that you could throw sand. You play a card throwing sand in someone's face as you attack them or as you defend. And there was a lot of running up buildings, and it was fought on a 2x2 with Roman buildings. Okay, so the scenery is expensive. If you want to do it, and I loved the idea that there were mobs moving around the board that were neutral effectively, and you could run into them to disappear, and then the next turn reappear at another mob and come out of them. So, but anyway, we did talk about it, and of course, we did talk about it with Andy when he was on the on the stream. But to be honest, that's a lot sooner. So that is something I'd be very interested in. I think Paul Hicks has done sculpts for it as well. I imagine Andy, I imagine will have sent him a lot of sculpts to do. So there we go. There we go. I regretted not getting into that sooner in the first edition.
Now's your chance.
Now's a chance to jump on it.
I saw that, and there aren't many games that just don't really do anything for me. And I looked at that and I thought, it just never really caught my interest at all. I'd love to see it played properly, but because I remember that Salute when they could come out and there were little games running, and I thought the terrain was amazing. But
for me, it's the table size 2x2. I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very scenery heavy, which again isn't a big problem, but it's not. The box sets came with one bit of scenery, but that's not really representative of Rome. He did have all these plans about going out into the provinces and having other bits and bobs on there, but Anyway, that's the news. The only other news I would say is the pikemen that I showed off, the late 15th century ones. The Kickstarter goes live tomorrow. So if you're interested in those pikemen, so tomorrow there'll be a video of mine. We'll be going live where you can have a look at them and I look at the sets and that. But the actual Kickstarter for War Steel Miniatures goes live tomorrow at 2 p.m. I believe, and I think there's 2 pledge levels, one for standard and then one for retailers, and that's it. So if you're interested in that, check them out. I'll post up the link.
3D prints, aren't they? Sorry, Drake.
They're 3D prints. So it's 40 STL files. So you'd need to send them to a merchant or be a merchant to buy them, basically. But when you've got them, I think the price point is €36. So what?
Pretty
30 quid. 30 quid for as many pikemen and handgunners and all of that kind of stuff that you want. Plus, obviously, there's stretch goals and things as well. So anyway, that'll be going up in tomorrow. I do believe. So let's jump back to our regrets. And now, of course, just before we did the news, I asked the guys, what about a video that they regretted? So let's start with let's start. It's all right. My daughter's just learned eeny meeny. So let's start with Steve.
I have 3, and I'll run through.
All right, hang on. I need to
3?
top my wine up.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're up in the game.
No, the first 2 were largely when I just literally just started my channel, and I didn't know which direction it was going, whether it was going to be wargaming or just hobby related. So the first one is I collect and restore old Star Wars kits. So ones from the 80s. I'm currently restoring quite a few of mine back to their former glory. And I thought people would be interested in Star Wars and Star Wars toys and Star Wars memorabilia. They weren't. They had no interest whatsoever at all. So I never mentioned it again. The second was I used to use Excel to build bolt action army lists. And so I did a video about that. And again,
I remember that video. I think I was the only one who watched it. Yeah,
no one cared. Nobody cared at all. And the other one was the third one was last year when, of all the things, Burrows and Badgers.
Oh yes, I remember you. Yes,
I put it on and it just bombed. It just nobody. I suppose when you've been watching, 2-3 years of World War II historical bolt action stuff like that, all of a sudden you're looking at animals with guns. It just didn't take off. But quite frankly, by that point, it's going to sound really bad, but you reach a point where you don't actually care. It's my channel. I'll put on there whatever I want. If I want to put on there a review of the sewer systems of the Lower Saxony, I'll do that. But no, they're the 3 that I regret, especially the Star Wars one, because I was it was one of my earliest videos, and just nobody watched it. So
what about you, Dom? Is there one in particular that stands out?
Well,
because
I unlike Steve, I don't necessarily bother, particularly if people don't watch them in the same some videos more than others, because it is just my channel's about what I'm doing or playing. So some people like some of it, some people won't. But the one I regret purely because I got so excited about, we've already mentioned this, the ones at SPQR. I got so excited about that. I got really into it and and I played the games and they were absolute twash, which then led on to the best video I ever did, which was the one where I actually binned it on the video, which I actually quite liked. But other than that, no, that was the one I regretted. SPK was just like, oh Jesus, what a disappointment. But what about you, Martin? What about you?
I regret. Well, there's 2, but they're basically 2 parts. It's one thing, but I did it in 2 parts, and I painted the Warlord Duke of Wellington and Uxbridge models. Now I didn't do it. I got so much crap. I got so much shit for this. I think it might be it's not that people dislike the video. I got emails going on about like Wellington and what he was wearing, and oh my god. And I just wish I hadn't have done it. I wish what I'd done is what I do now, which is actually just do a painting video. What I did was a sort of a me chatting over me, like a time lapse of me painting him, and I didn't really go into sort of because I didn't think people would be that interested because there wasn't a lot of color. He's wearing a big blue coat, but he's waving his hat. So that part of the video is quite. I wouldn't say. I've just. What the hell is that? I've just seen someone say, "Smell my cheese."
Yes, I just saw that. I'm not quite sure what that's in connection to.
I can add to that. I will be making a video about arm wrestling with Chaz and Dave.
Okay, right. And
stream is going some weird directions.
Yeah, I know. Well, we always knew it would. The second part of the video is about the basing, and the basing side of it. Loads of likes, loads of comments. Once I did it, the first part, which was how I paint, well, not even how I painted, just the time that's me painting them. Uxbridge and no, not Uxbridge, Picton and Wellington and the others. No, absolutely, just and I think I regret doing it, not because I regret painting the miniatures, but just because I don't even think of any assertions in it. I just wish I'd done it differently. Right. The one thing that I suppose I don't regret about this is the battle reports, because I had a sort of an idea about how I wanted to do those. I did do. there's a video I never put out. I filmed a battle report for Dead Man's Hand, right? And it was, and you know how that game goes, and it was the dullest game you've ever had. I mean, it lasted so long because everyone just kept on jamming around. And part of me for ages was like, oh, I regret not putting it up because I'm like, by the way, because I felt like by like putting it up and because I went to all the effort of filming it. And I mean, if you film it, will you still put it up? Or have you ever filmed something and gone like a game and gone, do you know what? I'm not going to put that up because I don't think it's going to be very interesting.
I did. It wasn't a battle report. It was a painting tutorial. I can't for the life of me remember what it was for. But when I'd finished it, I'd look back at the footage. I thought I literally cannot put that out because you don't actually see the figure. All you see is my hands. The quality was just garbage. So that's.
Yeah. I have to say, I videoed Friday's game down the club, which was a lovely looking game, but as a game, it was cack. And I videoed it, and it just wasn't. No, it just wouldn't be any good as a video. So I haven't actually done it. So yeah, that does happen.
Joseph, you're a legend. I regret not finding the PCP sooner.
Oh, well done, that man.
There we go.
I mean, what a creep! Thank you very much. But still,
absolutely. But it's appreciated.
Just show this from Steph. Just make sure the boys stay in the barracks. Yeah. It's because you've got the shorts with the underpant lining.
Oh my god!
These are Alan Partridge. The Alan Partridge references.
I can't. Do you know what? I can't listen to Steve Coogan anymore at the moment. He drives me nuts because he made that Richard III film, and but it's what he said about. If you heard about how he talks about the University of Leicester, like the people who like I did my degree, like people I know professionally, that he in his art. Do you know what? I won't go into it. Anyway, never mind.
And breathe.
Thank you, Dom. Mortzik, so we're back. Let's see where you guys are, and then we'll have a look at some photos because there's been a lot this week. Mortzik says he regrets not selling his rather big X-Wing collection before version 2 is kind of a regret. Yes, I could still play it in theory, but nobody plays version 1 or version 2 anymore. Absolutely. Killer Kriegsman, thank you very much. He's just getting a super chat for £2. You wish you got more Krieg bits on eBay last year. Oh yeah, you've got so much Krieg stuff though, dude, and it all looks awesome. See, that's I remember when the it's the Deathcore, isn't it?
Deathcore Krieg, yeah.
I remember when they came out originally, and I think about the prices back in the day, and I probably thought they were expensive then. I regret not buying them back then.
Me and my mate went to the Forge World Open Day, and I spent the best part of 30 odd quid on a 10-man Deathcore Krieg squad. Got back next day. I had the week off. I sat down and thought, I'm going to paint these. And I think out of the 10, 8 were just unusable. They were just so badly cast. They to be fair to them, to be fair to Forge World, they ended up replacing the entire box, but I've used them in my Turnip 28 armies. So,
Robin, I regret nothing, no matter how many projects I start. Do you not regret putting your cannon in that?
Hang on, we've had a week without that being mentioned. It's back in. Good job.
Well, you say again in our little Eastern Association chat, which isn't again what it isn't called, but I can't say what it is called because video will get taken down. It won't get taken down. It's just not very. Anyway, Miller was playing. What was Miller playing? Medieval Total War 2 or something, and he said he was going on about how good it was, and the first question up was, did the cannons explode in that? You do need a t-shirt, dude. That just says, what did you say? Do I feel lucky? I think that's what you need.
That's the one he needs.
What is it? Yeah. Matt, how you doing, dude? He said his biggest regret is just being a hobby magpie and rarely finishing a project before moving on to the next one. I'm really trying to put that right this year. Given what's going on
that. Don't worry about that.
I mean, we look at Dom. Dom is the king of the magpies.
Yeah, I am. Just go with it. Just, don't try and change anything.
To be fair, that's what I'm doing this year. This year, I'm harnessing my inner Dom, and I'm just painting what the hell I want.
What the hell you like? Exactly.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Ryan says, how do you make time to play? I've had a hard time balancing work, home, kids. Any advice for breaking away for a game night without feeling guilty? I know this. So I do one gaming evening a week where I go around to my mates, or sometimes it's every other week. And I don't know, Haley just kind of lets me go. I make time to play because I take days off to play. I don't really, which I'm fortunate. I have the luxury of doing a lot easier than other people I know. What I guess the other guys might be, because Steve, you don't get many games in, but Dom, you go down the club.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm not going to pretend it's not, especially when the kids are younger, unless you've got really understanding other halves, is difficult. And that's why I stopped playing for 10, 15 years when my kids were young. And I think the thing is, you got, it's like when you're in a relationship and what have you, you've got to have a bit of time to do your own things as well as do things together. And it's the same with the family. I do honestly believe that you need to try and find some time, just one day a week or one evening every fortnight or something, to go and do something you really enjoy. And yeah, so that's what I tried to do. But I say for about 10 years, I didn't do it. But then I played a lot of online games in the evening. So I just think try. And if your other half is, understanding, they'll understand it. I do also think you get into a routine. That's the other thing I found in life. Once you get into, like when I started back gaming, and my daughter was a swimmer at the time, and so I used to take her to the one of the local pools where she trained, and I just sort of said, oh, while I'm there, I could go up to the Farnborough Wargaming Club, and then, Elaine, would you mind picking her up after that? And so she went, all right, don't mind doing that. So it became the normal thing on a Friday night, and suddenly I gamed every Friday night because of that. So it's getting that routine going, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, it can definitely be hard. I mean, the thing is, even if you can sort of organise just once a month, is a lot more palatable, I guess. I mean, as Dom just said, Dom's kids have grown up now. I've got quite young kids. Although, as I understand, Dom, they keep coming back.
Oh yeah, they're always back. They were both back at the weekend as well. Yeah.
Do they clean up after themselves now? Because
I can't argue that they do. They're much better now. They're a bit older.
My youngest this morning called me a scallywag. and she waved they went to a group this morning, and she waved a balloon that had been blown up to look like a flower at me at the same time. She went shut up, scallywag. Brilliant. John says Cruel Seas is good if you house rule some stuff. The local club lives the stuff, and I run in it. The pain is that Warlord don't really support it now. That, I think, seemed to be a big problem. I seem to remember something about torpedoes maybe being a bit.
Yeah, there was something about you could run into your own torpedoes when you.
But wasn't it just about to do with it was to do with the timings of when they went off? Did they go off at the start of the turn or the end of the turn or something like that?
It was something like that. I don't know, because I've only played it the once. Yeah. But yeah.
Dear. Mark says, my regret is not being able to part with anything. I have so much stuff I've not touched in years, and I can make some money on it. Mark, meet Steve. Apart from Steve doesn't regret it. Steve is what we technically call a hoarder, a wargame hoarder.
Actually the other day, when I got the Xenos Rampant book, I wanted to try and find that Space Marine army. 45 minutes it took me to find it because I couldn't remember what I'd done with it. I wouldn't mind, but I don't live in like Buckingham Palace or anything. I've not got a west wing of my flat to go down. I'm very much quite a bijou compact place where I live. So to manage to lose an arm, bijou.
He's bijou.
Oh, bijou.
But there's not too many northern types saying bijou tonight, I tell you.
No, there's not. And you got Yorkshire in the chat. I think he's going to disown you.
He will kick you out of the Northern Association.
The Northern Association. He regrets losing touch with his War Games group. I'm just a painter now, not a war gamer. He misses a game or two. Louis, you have to try and come over, dude, when we get the next one going. Which is in the works, isn't it?
It
Dom?
is.
Mhm.
It is. It
It's
is
in the
coming.
works. If people weren't getting married, things
it would
might be moving a bit
sooner,
quicker. You know,
I think we will have to announce at some point fairly soon the date that we are thinking of. So that people can plan, particularly if they are planning to come overseas.
Well, if what is planned to go ahead next month comes off, then it would make perfect sense.
It would
to
make
announce
perfect
it
sense.
then.
It would make perfect sense.
And we won't just sound like gibbering idiot. Well, we
any
won't
more
sound
than
like
normal,
idiots,
you mean?
any more than normal. Robin, he's had a lot to say tonight. This isn't putting me off my 6 mil samurai. Yeah, go away. Go away. Go away. And by the way, I'll see you tomorrow. Alex, we'll finish on this one. I regret making my first Gaslands video. It's terrible, and I even went as far as unlisting it, so no one
That's the point. Have you unlisted any of your videos, guys? I never have.
No, I've not needed to. No.
Or taken them down not because of anything dodgy, but because you just hated them.
Oh, can I? So I took one down, re-edited it, and uploaded it after it had been up for 6 months because I realised there was a historical inaccuracy in it.
I remember you talking about that one. That was funny.
That was, and that also it was like, the views. I was like, but this video is getting quite a bit of traction. And I've had some emails, people asking for more information, and then I realized it was just because I was, just blah 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 in the video, and then I made just sort of a stupid comment that you don't notice at the time, which is, it's because of this, and then someone commented back to me saying, you do know that in the Wars of the Roses that this wasn't a thing, right? And I was like, well, of course I knew that. And they went, it's just at 11 minutes 30. You say, and I was like, I could just go back and mute it. So I go back and I cut it, and then I re-uploaded it. But of course, because I did that, I lost the initial views on it. But I felt some kind of moral responsibility to put the right information out there. More for me, because it's never really gone back to its original state. But anyway, Yorkshire, just so you know, says, Bijou, is that not the thing that shoots water up your bum?
Look, the uncouth Philistine. The uncouth Philistine I share my Monday nights with, honestly.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, guys, thank you very much. That was incredibly enjoyable. And the right kind of tone is exactly what we wanted. What do you say we look at some photos?
Let's go for it.
Yes, let's do that.
Brilliant. As always, guys, we can't put up everything that's in the Facebook group. But if you're over in the group and you want your photo shown, put it up in there. We try to put up as many as we can, and there's been some absolutely cracking stuff going up in there. And I'm going to start with this because I love this. Now, I know Andy was really, really pleased with this. We put it up, but Andy said he thinks this is the best model he's done. I love this model that he's done. It's a assassin, isn't it, from 40k? Yep. I love the gold. I think the bronze and gold. I love it. And the model itself is awesome. It's just that work. It is lovely, mate. So well done. That is really. Even
really who have no interest in that at all, think that is extraordinary.
Look at the size of that sniper rifle. Yeah. Come on,
lovely.
That is very cool. Nice one, Andy. Alex, Storm of Seal. He did some fields. I like putting up scenes.
Oh, nice.
I really like those, and I especially like your tiny gates. I like your tiny gates. I also like your ridge and furrow. Which,
are you allowed to say that thing in the modern world nowadays?
I like your ridge and furrow.
Yeah, you could get all kinds of things happen to you.
You might end up in a special list.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. All right, there's a band called what are they called? Forest. They're a metal band just called Forest or Dark Forest, and they've released an album that is genuinely just called Ridge and Furrow. They've got a song in it called Ridge and Furrow. Let's learn about soil and farming techniques. Right, moving on. Anyway, they're very, very nice fields. So hopefully we'll see them in the video soon. Granite Frigo, he's at it again.
Oh my goodness, Anthony. Jeez.
Knocking them out.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The man is a machine.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And they're so nicely done as well.
I know.
Absolutely. Cracking stuff. He has done, I think I asked this before, but I haven't gone and looked yet, so probably been a bit ignorant. He has done where he's done like a showcase, hasn't he? Of everything.
He's done a brigade or two, because when he's done a brigade, he tends to do a showcase of that brigade, I think. or that division or whatever he's been working on. I think I've never seen the entire collection.
Drink.
Oh,
Hey.
drink.
3D prints, drink.
Drink.
I finished my drink. I ain't got any more
Blimey,
drink
where's my drink on? There it is.
left. I've got static grass in my white. Oh no.
Put hair on your chest, mate.
Literally, I don't think it's the same thing when it's inside your lungs.
No, yeah.
I think with your lungs at the moment.
No. If there's an autopsy done on me, when they say, if they said, there was asbestos in his lungs or something like that, okay, if they say he died because of static grass clogging his airways, at least you'll know I died doing something.
He died like a proper gamer. He had paint in his liver and flock in his lungs.
I always dread how much paint I've consumed in the past 30 years.
I know it probably is a tad concerning. Next up, Andrew. He's in with the Nurgle stuff, particularly gribbly and disgusting Nurgle. And I hope you don't take this offensively. Disgusting they look as well, but I know that that's what you mean them to look like. But no, very, very nice. I really like the cut. It's got a very. I like the colours he's chosen, but how he's mixed them up on each model.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Do you know what? I think that there's a definite hint of Blanchitsu going on there. They look like some of it from a John Blanche.
Beg your pardon?
Blanchitsu. Definitely some of a John Blanche painting.
Sounds like one of his beers, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
Top stuff.
You should make a cocktail. It'd have to be sort of a brownie orange cocktail with just sort of I don't know, just hints of weird in it. Can you do that, Steve? You could like grate a mushroom on top of it or something.
With flecks of weirdness, lovely.
All right. Next up, Dalibor. He put this up. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the game that he said he'd done this for. But I just thought the brushwork on that was bloody amazing.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool. I will admit, when I originally saw this, I thought the plant in the background was part of the base. I was like, that looks good, but that is cracking work. I really liked it. I really like the sculpt as well. So
yeah,
really, really nice. Craig has been doing some Wars of the Roses commanders.
Oh, good job.
So you can get and on the left, we have Lord Scrope, the Bolton on the left, and you have
Lord Scrote.
Scrope, not Scrote.
Okay.
Scrope. Although that doesn't sound much better.
I think it's far better. Scrotum. There you go.
I wish you had said that. Next time he's in the game, I'm going to be and Lord Scrote has managed to fail his charge.
Lord Scrope.
Scroper Bolton, but I don't know. No, I don't know. So you guys see the banner second from the right?
Yes.
He's done a custom one, and
Who is that?
It's what he's made up. It's that is Sir Jeffro Tull, and the and the banner is the badge from the what's the album from the Fight Like a Knave in the belly of the what's the album called? Oh, I've just forgotten. Jeffro Tull Knave, Crest of a Knave. If you go and look at the Crest of the Knave album, which came out in 1987 by Jeffro Tull, that's the crest he's painted on there.
That's awesome.
And that is the Jeffro Tull. I thought that was excellent. I did then have to go and dig out some Jeffro Tull afterwards. Next up, Drew is done. It's so cool. He's done Durnford for his Anglo Zulus. Is that Empress or Warlord?
I think he said they were Warlord.
Yeah.
Very nice. They're very nice. They are very, very cool. That's not helping me. And cracking basing as well. Don because he has been working on terrain. Nice. Now I know he's posting this up in the hobby support group, and go and check out their groups. They've got this terrain build going on. Or I think that's actually a separate group. Warren, look for Warren's post in the PCP stream, and you'll find it. But that is awesome, and I do like the bikes in the foreground. Very, very nice work. Gary has done some work on some Japanese. I love those. He's done quite a lot, but obviously I just picked the one. But I really, really liked that. It's a nice one. Jonas, he put up this chaplain, which I thought was unusual. I hadn't seen anyone really paint up a chaplain before. To be honest, I didn't even realize there was a model for one. So I thought that's
kit bashed.
Nice.
I think he's kit bashed that.
Very, very cool. Very nice. Graham, or sorry, War Graham has done some more stuff for Saga, but he didn't actually say in the post what they were. Dom, are they Scythians? Persians?
Persians, I believe.
They're
Yes,
very
I think
nice.
he's. Do you know, he shot me the other day down the club. He said, "I have finished. I have nothing in my lead pile. There is nothing left anymore."
God,
What?
I thought that was like some kind of mythical.
I
thing.
said he should be thrown out and burnt outside the hall, because that's just wrong on every level. But there you go.
That is very cool. Soon to be cheating on a tabletop near you. Next up, Joshua has some lovely small scale ACW. Now I can't remember are these 10s?
I think they're 10s.
10s or 15s,
They
but they are. He said they were an eBay rescue. So
good job.
Very, very good job, but lovely work. Justin has been working on his Italians. I love that kit, and that's exactly what I did with them as well. The thing is with mine, I found that I really like painting grenadiers, so my battalion is about 2/3 grenadiers, rather than there's no fusiliers, it's all just grenadiers. And I tried to model one like he was pushing a fusilier forward to go and take the bullet first. So they're lovely stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing him do some more of those. Paul. He put up, so he had a big game over in the States, and that's what I think we were all hoping to see when people started buying up the epic stuff. That's certainly what I think of. So that is very, very cool. If you go and have a look on the Facebook group, he put up loads of photos from that game. So very, very nice, very nice. And Mitchell, these were I can't remember, just Dark Age Warriors, but he decided to put the snow effect on and mix it with a mud effect, and yeah, they are very cool.
I love that. That basing's lovely.
Yeah, really
nice. It's the GW snow, I think he said, mixed with the GW Sterling mud.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he's put dabbed them together. So very, very nice. Simon, Anglo-Danes, absolutely. That's what we like to see. So very nice. And again, is that a hand-painted shield? I think it is.
It looks
very,
that way.
very
Yep.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Stephen, so now these were these Scythians?
Scythians. They are Scythians.
Yeah.
I do like a Scythian.
I do like
I went to see a few years ago. I went to see British Museum did a display about the Scythian race. It was very interesting. Anyway, here we go. Sorry,
absolutely.
I shall get out of nerddom.
No, that's fine. Paul from Paul's Paint Shed recently, they were playing Rapid Fire. He put up loads of photos in the group, and I was kind of like torn between I like seeing pictures of people gaming, but at the same time I wanted to put up a picture of the table because I loved it. It looked very, very cool. So
very good.
Have a look at that in the group. And finally we will end with Stephen, who is continuing his depths of weird. But I think, Dom, even you're gonna appreciate this because this is truly gribbly and lovely. I love it. I absolutely love it. But again, I'm pretty sure I saw you in Derby. But that is awesome. Very, very nice paintwork.
Very cool.
Lovely stuff. So, guys, thank you so much for sending us the photos. We do love seeing it. The Facebook group is now over 900 members, and we're heading for our 1K. We might have to think of something to actually do when we hit 1,000.
God, yeah.
But
what are we going to do?
We won't commit to it because just in case we don't, because then
that involves planning and thinking about things.
Yeah,
more forward planning than we commit to do. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending your Monday night with us. We hope you've enjoyed the stream. Next week it should be Ken, but I don't know if it will be, so we will confirm it as normal. So just keep your eyes peeled on the group unless one of these two wants to commit now to take it. But I think Dom might be on holiday.
I'm on holiday. I'm not here.
So Steve, do you want to do it, or should we just leave it?
I will do it. I'll take one for the team.
You heard it. You take one for the team. I'll do the stream. So
if I'm not
me, Steve, and Ken next week. So we're going to be over on Point HQ, and we will put up the menu for February in the group and on the socials, and we should have a nice, hopefully, if it all goes according to plan, we will have a little announcement for February. Otherwise, we hope that you've enjoyed spending your Monday with us. Remember to smash the like button, join the channels, all the links are down below. Come join the Facebook page and continue to post your pictures over on the Facebook group. Otherwise, we hope you all have an absolutely awesome week, and we will see you all next week, except for Dom. Where are you going?
I'm not going to tell you because I'll get thrown out. Have a really good week, everyone.
Have a really good week. We will meet again. We'll see you all soon.
On that bombshell.
On that
Cheers,
bombshell.
everyone.
Good night. Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.